So, all right, so Tiny, why don't you start off by telling me why you're here again today?
Well, Mr. Stern was nice to ask me to come here. And so here we are.
So here you are. You're not here to plug anything or anything?
Believe it or not really.
Let me get to Tiny Tim, who, Tiny's the man. You know that.
He is the best guest.
He is the best guest that we have. There is no better guest than Tiny Tim. Tiptoe through the tulips and all that. Guy's dynamite. Guy comes in, he's honest, tells you everything that's going on. Anybody give Tiny a beer? He likes to have a beer in the morning.
He likes to have a beer, period.
Well, you know,
Doesn't matter what time of day it is.
Tiny loves his beer.
Yeah.
Hey, who doesn't? Why not? Why does beer have to be just for the evening?
Yeah, who made that?
Who made those rules? Yeah, right. Anyway, Tiny was. We'll let Tiny tell the story. Let's see what it is.
Yeah, because I want to see if we've got a case.
Yeah.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Is anybody listening?
I don't know. Where's Gary? It's so weird. You call for a guest on this show and then nobody shows up.
Tiny's not moving.
Tiny's not moving?
He's slow. He doesn't.
Oh, all right. He's taking his time.
He's got an entourage. He's chatting with them. Please, Mr. Tim, follow me. And
Oh, I see. All right, okay.
They're all filling him with things to say, plugs.
Oh, really? Poor
This
Tiny.
still doesn't happen on David Letterman.
Yeah, I know. Well, what it is I call. I get in the mood and then I call. Oh, I hear Tiny now. Tiny, come here. Tiny, forget that. You're on. You're in here. You're in the big room. You're playing the big room today. He's out there in the hall talking to Ganji. Mr. Jackie.
Mr. Fred.
Mr. Fred?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Tiny, take a seat.
Mr. Lobotomy.
Hello.
Mr. Lobotomy. That's Mr.
I am
Delabate.
just fine.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Delabate. Thank you.
Oh, there you go, Tiny. All right, easy.
Get into that chair.
What'd you do? You changed your hair color. You went red.
Oh, well, I just colored it today again because it looked faded.
Yes.
And I had to, I haven't missed a shower since December 20th, 1989, except during the Iowa flood.
Right.
Why did you miss the shower on December 20th?
Iowa flood.
I got too lazy.
Oh.
In 1989.
Yeah.
And you missed one shower?
At that time, I made up since that, about the 19th, but the 20th, since 89, I haven't missed a shower since.
Tiny's an amazing guy. Let me tell you, I mean, this guy really is serious about his body grooming, which everyone knows. Tiny Tiny is into cleanliness.
You know what somebody said to me the other day? He's really right about those products.
Yeah, and he's right about his products, and the guy's right on the money. I mean, people have called Tiny Tim an eccentric or what have you.
Well, that would be true, wouldn't you?
Yes, and an odd character, this kind of thing. This is what they say about Tiny. But through it all, the guy has a certain honesty, and it's beautiful. I mean, I like it.
Well, Mr. Stern, thank you, and thanks for having me on your show again.
Yeah, I love having you.
And that beautiful movie.
Thank you.
Private Parts.
Pretty exciting, isn't it?
It was Hollywood.
Tiny is in the movie.
It was probably the biggest production you've ever been on, hasn't it?
Yes, it
Isn't
has, Ms. Quivers, in a long time.
It's a $30 million film, you know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, $25 to $30 million film. Isn't that something?
Well, that is great.
Yeah, you had a nice trailer. They treated you right.
Too good. I want to thank everyone. Was that Mrs. Simone with hospitality?
Yes.
At this wonderful hotel?
Yes.
And Riga or something?
Yes.
And the thing,
Whatever.
It was thanks for you. Wonderful.
Yeah, Tiny was brilliant yesterday.
hospitality.
He was great. He was
I
great.
don't know about that, but I had good direction.
You're good. Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
But anyway, the point is that Tiny. Now I read in the paper. I didn't even ask you about this yesterday. I didn't want to upset you or anything. But I saw you had an accident at the airport. Let's go through that. Let me read the article, okay? All right. Let's talk about what happened here. Tiny Tim takes a wild ride. Herbert Conry.
That's you.
Corey, yeah.
Oh, Corey.
Yeah.
That's your real name?
Yes.
Okay. I call you Tiny Tim. I don't even. All right. Herbert Corey should have tiptoed through the Philadelphia airport. Instead, the entertainer, better known as Tiny Tim, used an electric cart that ran out of control for more than 50 feet, injuring 2 passengers. Corey, 73. You're not 73, are you? Really? No. Is that a misprint?
About.
What are you, about 50?
Well, just minus 9 years.
Minus 9 years. I see. You're 42. 41.
What?
He's 41 years old.
Wow.
No.
Howard, he's younger than you, and
Yeah.
you watched him when you were growing up?
Yeah, he ages backwards. He's got the skin of a 41-year-old man.
9 from 73.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You're 62.
Older.
Older, 63.
No, older.
64.
9 from 73.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
That would be 64, wouldn't
Oh,
it?
64, right. No kidding. How come the paper lies like this, Tiny?
Well, that's my fault.
It is.
Did you tell him you were 73?
But he used to lie to get into bars and stuff.
No.
Right.
No, I only had one notable lie in this business, which I regret, and that was in April of 1968 when I was hot. I just told the World Almanac, I shifted 23 from 32.
I see.
And I regret that, and I just want to tell the fans
You're always
I'm
honest.
sorry for that.
Right, okay.
I've got to...
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. What was the lie?
Which way?
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If Tiny says he's 64, he's 64, and that's all I need to know. If the guy tells me it, I believe it. It's show business. Hey, David Brenner's 37.
Yeah, so Tiny can be any age he wants
All right,
to
Corey, let me correct this. It says 73 in the paper. Corey, 64, conceded to airport police Friday that he had 2 beers before seating himself in the cart. The question was whether he tried to drive or was a passenger in the runaway vehicle. Corey was not arrested, but a police spokesman said yesterday the investigation was being reopened after new witnesses had come forward putting Corey in the driver's seat. So what happened is Tiny was...
Did you commandeer one of those little carts?
Tiny, what happened? You were flying on a plane.
Yeah, I was flying. In fact, there was 4 beers I had.
Yes.
But the thing is, I was going from Dallas to Memphis.
Yes.
That's why I had 2 beers.
Yes.
And that's why it was beer.
Yes.
A nice wheat beer.
Yes.
And then
You like that?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
And then we waited for an hour, 10 minutes, whatever, to go to the next plane to go to Philadelphia from Memphis.
Yeah.
And then from there, I had a banana, total cereal, skim milk, Philadelphia cream cheese, and a bagel, and yogurt.
Yes.
And then,
Boy, that's a big meal for you. You usually don't eat like that.
Well, I did then, and I just really nibbled. And then I had 2 more beers, which is...
Was that a good beer?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, all premium beers.
Yes.
And it's $4 a can on the plane.
Wow.
And so then I was not drunk. I was happy,
you can handle your booze. Right.
Nothing wrong there.
But do you drive, Tiny?
No, I never drove in my life.
Wait a second. Okay, now wait a second.
And so and that was the scary part because
Right.
then when I
So
went,
you get off the plane.
When I got off, right near the hamper, not outside yet,
Yes.
right near the, I met Mr. Cirillo, Nick Cirillo,
Yes.
who was a valet there, bell captain,
Yes.
and he was so nice. We talked about Dean Martin and all the rest. He remembered me from years ago,
Yes.
and he said, "Listen," he saw I was walking. These days, it's not easy to walk.
Right.
So he said, "Why don't you take the cart outside?"
Right.
Well, I hesitate. I said, "I don't know if I will or not, but I'll."
You didn't want to make a scene. You just wanted to walk.
So I thought, but thanks for the suggestion anyway.
I've seen those little white carts. It's a white cart that they have at the airport.
Right.
Usually someone else is driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Mr. was right.
Right.
Usually there's someone else there, but no one was there.
Right.
And it was about 50 feet from, where they line up for tickets.
Right.
And there was a woman sitting there. I thought she was sitting behind the wheel.
Yes.
So I said hello, and I found out she was sitting behind the other in the back.
See, he didn't even know which end you drive.
Right.
and she's a little hostile in her look, so I didn't say nothing. I sat.
You get that a lot?
Well, sometimes. Yes.
Some people are hostile to because you look different.
Well, not only here, in general to everyone.
Right.
All depends on the moods at the
How
moment.
could people not love Tiny Tim?
Oh,
but
very
it's
simple.
crazy.
Very simple.
Why? What is it?
Well, strange looks, strange ideas. Strange,
Right.
The world is full of...
Doesn't accept people who are a little different.
And not only that, even their own they don't accept. There's wars in every continent.
Exactly.
England and Ireland, Israel and Egypt, Bosnia,
of course.
North and South Korea.
So as you say, you get off the airplane, and Tiny Tim...
this hostile woman.
The guy says, hey, take the golf cart. There's the golf cart. Now, there's a woman in the back seat of the golf cart who seems a little hostile. You get in the front seat.
Right.
But in the driver's side or the passenger side?
No, on the passenger side.
Passenger side, you get in there.
Side.
You say, hey, why not? I'm a little tired today. I don't feel like walking.
And the car's right here.
I'll take advantage of the fact that someone offered me a car.
Yeah, so I was waiting.
Go ahead.
And I put the shopping bag with you. I think I put it in between my legs. Then
so now you're sitting in
you
the golf.
put the shopping bag between your legs in the golf cart.
Either between my legs or on the side.
Right. It's hard to remember. Yes.
So it's very possible that. Well, anyway, as I was sitting in the car waiting,
Yes.
I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know if I was shifting in the seat or not.
Yes.
But it started to roll.
I see.
I certainly didn't put my foot on the pedal. Right. I know nothing about cars. I just didn't go in and put the foot on the pedal and say,
you're sitting there minding your own business, and then all of a sudden the thing starts to roll.
Right, and there's no key in the lock or anything like that. And so I just maybe shifted or put my feet in front of the board there, and it started to roll slowly. And then I got scared.
Right, of course.
It kept rolling and rolling. rolling without a stop.
Yes.
So it's possible after it started rolling that I put my foot on the pedal,
Yes.
just to see if that would stop the car.
Right.
And then it zoomed.
You made a valiant effort to stop
He
it.
put his foot on the gas instead of the brake.
Whatever that was.
So your point is that they shouldn't leave these carts unattended. Tell people to get in and wait.
Absolutely.
That's right.
But Mr. Chairman, anyway, but when I did that, it ran over one woman waiting online, another man
geez.
was
Now, when you
banged
say
against the
now,
board.
when you say it ran over a person, these golf carts are rather heavy, aren't they? I mean, even though they look like toys.
That's right.
And you're saying that that someone actually
They mowed people down?
They mowed people down.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but it's a terrible
what
thing,
happened.
isn't it?
Miss Arthur, she's about Esther Arthur. Hope she gets well.
Yes.
She had something with the hip and the leg, and the other man was very nice about it. That he got up and they took him to the hospital anyway.
Oh my God!
And
So
then
you
they had
left
a third
carnage in
person.
your path.
And I might have touched the wheel as it was rolling.
Because you were trying to steer the way.
How did you
Straight
stop?
to the wall.
Right.
I was aiming for the wall.
Tiny, in a valiant effort to stop all this,
Right.
drove himself into the wall.
And that's what happened. And then it stopped, and of course, Mr. Rosa, the cop, came over.
Yes.
And I told him what happened.
No, isn't it amazing how you remember everyone's name in the incident?
Well, and also Mr. Bow, another officer.
Yes.
And Mr. Spencer. Spencer came from the Delaware paper.
Mr. Rose, Mr. Bow, and Mr. Spencer.
Rosner.
Rosner, yes, right.
And
Jewish cop?
Mr. Rosner, huh?
Jewish cop?
I don't know.
I see.
But whatever they were, he was the thing I put from the pedal. I told him I'd had the 2 beers and 2 more before that.
Yeah.
Always let him know because I was not drunk.
Because this could be the first case of someone, they were trying to pin a drunk driving charge on you in the actual airport.
And you don't even have a license.
Yeah, you don't even have a license.
I couldn't drive a 2-wheeler.
Right. And I know Tiny. Tiny wouldn't get behind the wheel or something.
But
Well, the point here is, though, that, when I'm reading the story, I say to myself, somebody's always driving these cars. Poor Tiny was in a cart somebody drove into people.
Yeah.
And then they say, but Tiny Tim admitted that he had 2 beers. I said, why would they be asking the passengers what they drank?
Yeah, what do they want from Tiny?
No, he didn't ask me. I
Right.
told him.
You volunteered the information.
I wanted to know the whole truth and what was going on because,
Right. You didn't want anything like
And
Watergate.
what did the hostile woman in the back do?
Well,
Yeah, what was the woman in the back doing?
She disappeared.
Really? She just bailed out?
No one knows where she went.
Really?
And
You mean after you crashed into the wall, she just went running out of the car?
no one could find her.
No.
Where the heck she was?
And you must have been terribly embarrassed because here
Well,
you
I
are,
was
a
scared.
high-profile celebrity.
I was really scared.
Yes.
I mean, I was also, and then.
And now they're trying to pin the rap on you.
Well, I found out from Mr. Cirillo
Yes.
that no one knows this yet, not many people, that the brakes were not working.
So that cart shouldn't have even been there.
That's right. There was an electrical problem.
I see.
And so that was a relief, but I'll be relieved when they all get well.
Yes, right. You were upset. Even though you're not responsible, you felt,
Absolutely. This is a queer type of happening.
Oh, I'll say.
But I tell you, I will not blame the beers. They were great beers. They were fantastic beers.
Will you continue to drink these beers?
Of course.
You will. You don't blame the product.
Of course not.
Tiny didn't intend to be driving.
Tiny, do you think your reaction time would have been quicker, maybe?
And
if
not
you
only that, I will. This is the first one any place. I will volunteer a lie detector test.
You will.
And even if there's a couple of lies, then,
Look at that. Look at that. Standing ovation for Tiny Tim. Isn't that marvelous? Isn't that marvelous?
Yes. And if they
You deserve it.
no.
You know what? I'm going to say this right now. Tiny Tim Hero, who actually steered himself into a wall to avoid hitting people. I'll say it.
Yeah, you're going to be terribly hurt.
Come on. Really.
I don't know about that. And then we went to perform later in Reading, Pennsylvania.
You did. Even all shook up, you were able to perform.
Oh, yeah, well, of course. I mean, the show has to go on as long as you can put it on.
Well,
but I do hope. But I wish they would have given me an alcohol test.
Right.
I would have volunteered for that.
Right.
And
No, I don't
also-
think you want that.
Yeah, why don't you skip that?
Oh no.
Right.
I would take an alcohol.
Speaking of
test.
alcohol, do you want a beer? Would you like one?
Oh, I'd love it.
Gary, please, for Mr. Tim, you should always know to present him with a beer as soon as he walks in. I know that he loves a beautiful beer. He loves it. He loves it. I don't know if I've got...
Jackie, you should recognize that smile.
Yeah, that's the same smile you got, Jackie,
I know, I
when we
recognize
mentioned here's a beer.
Oh, Mr. Jackie, thank. And the other gentleman's name is
Mr. Eric.
That's
He
Mr.
changed his
Eric,
name.
yeah.
Do you know this?
Mr. Jackie, thank you.
Remember when that guy was named Fred? His name is now Eric. He legally changed his name to Eric.
Wow.
And didn't tell anyone for 2 years.
Wow, good luck.
You think you're weird.
Oh no.
Well, Tiny changed his name. He
That's right.
understands.
Yeah, but Tiny did it at a reasonable point in his
At
life.
least he told other people.
Right.
Well, I had other names beside Tiny Tim.
Did you really? What were your other names?
Larry Love, Gary Dover, Emmett Swink, Raleigh Dell.
Yeah, somebody was telling me the other day that when you were Larry Love, you used to be in like this freak show.
Freak
yes,
show?
That's very true.
Really?
That was in 57 Hubert's Museum
Right.
on 42nd.
You performed in
Street.
a museum.
Well, it was a penny arcade, and downstairs.
freezer.
Right. Professor Hubert and 20 trained fleas were dancing to music.
Tiny
It was a
worked
flea
with the
circus.
fleas.
I swear to God.
Were the fleas any good?
I never saw his act, but Professor Hubert was in this city since the 20s, since
I see.
1920.
I see.
It was the biggest 25 cents admission.
So after this airport incident, did they get you to a hotel? You were able to clean yourself up
yeah.
and everything? Now, were you in a panic? I mean, I know you like to be clean. and-
No, I was just shocked at what happened at the end.
Right.
The way it took off. Remember, it took off, just rolled down.
And what did you do to calm yourself down? Did you shower? Or?
I was calm inside, but it's just the head was in a whirl.
I see.
So you had another beer.
Did you have any beers?
Not then. I couldn't get any more.
Really? Why is that?
could
I mean,
have helped.
Well, I would have to go to perform,
Right.
for the Reading Phillies,
Yes.
a few songs during the game, and then not until I got back to
oh,
the
you played at the
airport.
baseball game?
I performed at the baseball
At a
game.
minor
kidding.
league baseball game.
No
yes.
kidding. What did you sing? Did you take me out to the ball
I just
game?
sang, yes.
Yeah, I would
I
imagine.
think I did that.
Who knows? You were shook up.
Everything's a blur now.
I know. I think I did. I know I did Your Grand Old Flag. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. Roll Out the Barrel. And I think I did take me out to the ball game.
Now, when you appeared at the ball game, did you ride out in a golf cart? I mean, ironically,
No, I walked out.
you did walk out. You said, "Hey, the hell with this golf cart stuff."
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
would
walk."
have taken it again. It's
I
just
see.
no one attended it, even though the thing was broken.
I see. All right, Mr. Tiny Tim, of course, the great Tiny Tim.
Yes.
I have
How
a beer.
is Tiny's new wife? I haven't heard anything.
Well, I tell you
about
what.
her.
When we come back, let's ask Tiny about his new wife, and
All
also I
right.
want to ask Tiny about politics for a second too. When we come back,
Very good.
beer is on the way. I understand it's about 3 minutes away. 3 minutes away from happiness. All right, because Tiny doesn't have much happiness. Does the beer make him happy? I give it to
We'll
him.
find out if he's happy.
Like a baby with a bottle, I'll make him happy. All right. Just had a coincidence, Tiny. While we were in the commercial, the guy that you keep mentioning, Cirillo or whatever,
Yeah.
he's on the phone. The guy with the cart. Maybe you want to talk to him. Is this Nick?
Yes, Mr. Stern.
All right, you were the guy at the airport?
Yeah, that's me, Mr. Stern.
So you helped out
I was
Tiny
the designated driver at the time of that incident.
I see. So you helped out Tiny?
Yeah, I noticed him in the jetway as I was coming in to pick up the next passenger. When I noticed he was like a little out of breath.
Right.
And he looked like he was like swaying back and forth. And I remember, just
Yeah, Tiny was tired.
yeah, he looked like he was a little tired.
Right. So he got in the cart and
So I had asked him. I said, maybe if I have enough room on the cart, that I'll be willing to take him down the baggage claim.
right.
Yes.
And he said, well, maybe I'll think about it. And then he proceeded out of the jetway onto the concourse, and I proceeded back towards the plane to get the next passenger.
So what Tiny's saying is all true.
What he
So
said,
far.
right? But what's happening is here that we have witnesses stating that they actually seen him get on the cart. They actually heard him say when he was a kid, his father never let him drive a cart.
That's true.
Right, and he also notices that he says that he said it was rolling,
Right.
and that he said he didn't know the difference between the brake pedal and the electric accelerator
That's
pedal.
right. He doesn't.
So what he did was when it started to roll, he
He did a brave thing. He tried to stop the cart.
but he actually hit the accelerator pedal.
Well, that's not his fault. I mean,
Right, we don't know who's at fault right now
Right.
at this point. We
I'm
don't-
saying that Tiny's sitting there and the thing starts rolling and the guy doesn't know how to
in the
drive. He at least made a
newspaper.
gallant effort to stop it.
Well, he is a pretty big guy,
Yeah, well, that's not his fault.
But they also say people were grabbing at the car trying to
Well, they were
stop.
trying to stop it because it went.
They're trying to help
it did
Tiny
go-
out.
It did go 60 feet.
So
But
Tiny
it must
gets in
have
the
been
car.
flying so that people couldn't get a hold of it.
Excuse
Well,
me.
I understand what happened. Well, go ahead.
Mrs. Cirillo, didn't you say they found the brake was didn't work?
What's that, Mr. Tim?
Didn't you say the other day to me on the phone that they found the brake didn't work?
Yeah, well, they also noticed that the brake, there was a brake problem with the emergency brake, because I did engage the emergency brake.
Right.
And did it work?
Well, after inspection, they did notice that the emergency brake was not operable.
I see.
Hmm.
So,
The emergency brake, but the regular braking system, what about that?
well, that needs repair too.
Right.
Aha.
So there you go. Your whole story.
Yeah, but
Right.
Mrs. Cirillo,
Well, I
think
just
it's,
hope that's I'm more concerned about the people that was involved in that accident.
yeah, of course.
Mrs. Arthur,
But going back to the very first statement you said, what was that? You said people said I was doing what?
well, people thought you were actually playing with the cart.
Playing with the car.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you were trying to drive it.
Right,
Oh, my
like playing
goodness.
around in the driver's
I
seat.
tell you, if I did, I wish I would take a lie detector test right away.
Right.
And if you bring those people on, I wish they would take it.
Well, then again, you got the same lady who says that she sees me putting the luggage in the back of the cart.
Well,
right?
hey,
Oh,
listen.
you weren't
But I
putting
wasn't.
luggage in?
I was in the jetway. Remember, I told you I was in the jetway.
Right.
Yeah, well, wait a second. What Tiny says is true. He didn't get in on the driver's side. He got in on the passenger side. He's
Correct.
sitting there
Everybody agrees with that.
and he sits down in it, and the thing starts rolling, and he says, "Hey, wait a second. Let me at least make an attempt to stop this thing."
Correct.
That is
Then
a-
it would look like he was trying to drive it.
Right, of course. So then, of course, the guy.
Think it was quick.
No. I know Tiny to be an honest guy. And the thing is that, so then he puts his foot down and says, well, I got a 50-50 chance. It's like a bomb expert. He says, okay, I can either cut the blue wire or the red wire. I might as well take a shot at it because either way it's going to blow up. So take a shot at stopping the damn thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
So Tiny puts his foot down. Of course, Tiny, unfortunately, stepped on the wrong pedal.
Yeah,
Right.
but also common sense says...
Gambled and lost.
But common sense says that I would not go into a car, fool with the wheel when I don't know how to drive, and
course
put
not.
my foot on the pedal.
Also, the flight attendants did state that he had 3 beers at the time.
No, I had
of the
4
time of
beers.
this
He had
incident.
4 beers, not
Four
3.
beers.
But not all on the same plane.
Right.
No,
But he just tiptoed out of the airport. He never, they never even gave him a breathalyzer test.
But that's nothing wrong with it. He wasn't driving.
He wasn't trying to drive.
Why would they give him a breathalyzer?
Yeah, also, Mrs. Cirillo, let me just bring this out. I volunteered that I had 2 beers coming to Philadelphia and 2 beers, Henry,
Right.
on to Philadelphia, and the wheat beer, the
Well, as a
rice
result-
beer, but this was back.
What if he
in
had 10
Memphis.
beers?
As a
Who
result
cares?
of this incident, I'm suspended from my job.
I didn't know that.
Why?
I had to
'cause
take a drug test.
You did?
Yeah, I had to.
How
take
many
a-
beers
I had
did
to
you
give
have?
None.
Well, there you go.
I'm fine. I mean, I had to give him a urine sample yesterday.
No kidding.
And
They
my-
figured he must be on drugs to tell Tiny to get
Yeah, right.
Mr.
Well, that's
Cirillo,
unfortunate.
I just want to bring that out. Thank you, Mr. Chairman Squivers, for that.
Mr. Cirillo's been very honest.
Yeah, he's been very honest.
No, because you know what? I like Tiny. I figured he was a nice guy. You know,
right.
he looked like he needed help. He looked like he was out of
Oh, it's
breath.
very nice of you.
And he seemed like. And then he told me later on in a conversation on the phone that he had medical problems with his lungs, and he gave me his doctor's
No,
name.
I said that I had chronic heart failure
Right.
because there's too much water in the lungs, which is now at a stable effect.
I see.
Praise the Lord. But just want to go back there. The woman who said I did what again at the beginning?
The woman
Well, I
said,
can tell you this
Yeah,
article.
I like to bring her up.
Who's that, Tiny?
Miss Ann Sarr.
Miss Ann Farr. Her
what, you mean, are people
Miss-
trying to claim
Miss
that Tiny did this on purpose or something?
Well, I don't know. She said she could swear in a court of law that she's seen him driving that car.
That's what she says. I could have sworn that he was
Right.
driving
Well,
this
he's a
thing.
big guy.
Well, it's very possible.
The driver was helping put luggage in the back, she says.
Right. I was nowhere near there.
And Tiny just pulled away. He left his guitar on the front seat right
Go
next to
ahead,
the
yeah.
driver.
Yeah, so
Right.
she thinks that's a
Where he
guitar?
was-
Right. She
sitting.
don't know the difference between a guitar, me, or
You're right.
Right.
Well, the point is that if Tiny was sitting on the front seat of a cart,
Right.
and Tiny's a big man, he, ironically, his name is Tiny, but the point is that he would, in fact, in a golf cart, look like he was somewhat close to the driver's seat.
Correct.
And if he was trying to push his foot so that he could maybe stop the thing, he would even look more like he was driving the thing.
Well, I did after it started to roll on its own.
Right.
And
The
that's
best
why-
part of this article is police said Tiny Tim, whose age is variously said to be 63,
63.
64, 65, and
Right.
73.
You're reading the article. You're reading the article.
It's 63.
And also, I do wish that the
How old is he really?
That's 63. None of your
63.
business. Yeah, go ahead. He looks like he's
but
50.
the thing is,
Go ahead, yeah.
but I wish this cop would have given me an alcohol test. I volunteered, remember, but I did take the beer because as Hebrew National Salami says, I have a higher source to answer to.
Yes.
And so I did want to let them know what was going on. I just wasn't having
I don't care if you had 50 beers. The point
you
is,
weren't driving the car.
you weren't driving.
Right, thank you. But still, the car did roll, and in panic and emotional stress, I did try to put my
You
foot
were
in the
in a
pedal.
runaway cart and you tried to stop it.
Everything's fixed now.
I wish I
Howard.
could have had film of that.
Everything's corrected now.
Good.
All the brakes were fixed the same day. Everything was correct. There's no more.
Well, I hope you get your job back.
Well, they said once they get the result back from the.
I
The
see.
drug test.
I should have no problem.
Well, that's good. As a matter of fact, last week Tiny
But I'm out
accidentally
of
ended
money.
up
I
in
lost
the
money this week.
Tiny accidentally ended up in the cockpit of an airplane.
Did he?
And yes, he
And he
stopped
flew
it.
for
He
a
flew,
while.
he flew for about
They call
15
it a
minutes.
Why do you think they call it a cockpit?
All right, very good. Nick, thank you, and I wish you
Mr.
luck
Stern,
with
would
it.
you do me a favor?
Yes.
Would you be able to send me a picture, portfolio
picture?
shot of you? Yeah, like most of the stars that I meet in the airport, they send me portfolios.
Well, all right, hold on.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
And Tiny said he would do that for me too.
Yeah, keep waiting. All right, hold on.
I appreciate it.
All right, Nick. That's Nick, everybody. Honest guy. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
You're quite welcome.
Rhetoric.
We will represent you.
Now, Tiny, clear this up for me before we get to your CD. And Gary, bring me a CD cassette to play this CD in. You got to have 65 pieces of equipment around here. So I was shocked to learn, not shocked so much, but But I was surprised to learn that you were a Pat Buchanan supporter. Is that true?
Yes, that's very true.
Really? I thought he's a
Does
little
Pat
extreme.
know?
Do you think, does Pat know that you're a supporter? Has he accepted you?
I don't know if he knows or doesn't know, but
Why do you agree with Pat Buchanan?
well, he seems to be an honest man. I'm not for abortion,
Right.
and remember we could have been aborted and not tasted pizza pies or hamburgers, whatever.
Right.
And I certainly am against abortion, and he's the only one who's not selling himself down the trail.
I see. So it's
Tiny.
strictly an abortion issue with you.
Basically.
That's it.
No, there's more, but on this one, I would say, yeah, absolutely. I don't vote for anyone who liberalizes with abortion.
Really?
Is that right?
We could have been aborted and never tasted the fruit you're about to taste.
Really?
Or this wonderful beer.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, there you go. But look at it this way. If there's more abortions, there'll be more beer for me and you. See what I'm saying?
I'd rather have no abortions.
Really?
You know, because you could be aborting the person who's going to create the greatest beer.
Who's that?
Who knows? That person
You're saying in
may
the
not have
future?
been born yet.
True. A great
If you-
brewmeister might be born. But Tiny, you have never performed an abortion on anyone, have you? No.
I'm also against mercy killing.
You are?
I
Now, let
mean-
me ask you something. If you were in the hospital and you were racked with pain, racked with pain, and you were suffering tremendously, you couldn't move, you were immobilized,
You're
you said,
wasting away. There is no.
put me out of this
release.
misery, please. You would not allow
You're
that?
not going to get well.
All right. Even in abortion, if it's a case in rare exceptions with the mother's life and the kid,
Right.
of course you save the mother's life.
Right.
There are rare, very rare exceptions, and in a case like that,
Or rape or something like that. What about in rape?
Well, no, it's not. It's not the child's fault.
I see. Wow, you're really strict into this.
Oh, yes, it's not the child's
So
fault.
if nobody's
They shouldn't suffer.
dying, that
Right.
baby's going to be born, as far as you're concerned.
Yes.
And what if the child is unwanted? Nobody
Well,
wants it.
There's somebody in the world who
Will
wants
take it? I see.
That's
All
right.
right,
And,
right.
and also, but in the case of that mercy killing, if that person was in that deep agony, it might be even there a rare exception.
I see.
But today's the danger of mercy killings is now everyone will want that, and it makes mercy a word in front of killing.
I see.
And it will open up the doors to other liberalistic.
What about if you're in like a coma?
Yeah.
There's still a chance to pull through. I think there's a case somebody
That's
pulled
true.
through.
Someone does pull through. That's right.
Where there's life, there's hope.
Well, listen, Tiny's into life.
I guess.
Even though he's had a rough life, he's into life.
Yeah, you know, you'd think that Tiny be the first to agree with mercy killing.
You're not kidding.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm the opposite on abortion. Believe it or not, I hate to say that we have a
You're the opposite of
disagreement.
mercy killing, too.
And mercy killing as well. I'm in for mercy killing for a lot. I'm very liberal when it comes to mercy killing. There's so many mutants running around here that I wish that there would be more
Are
of
you
it.
against the death penalty?
Well, I hope not.
Another great question. Therefore, the grace of God go I.
Right.
I'm not against the death penalty when it comes to real murders.
Murders you can prove.
Sure. That is unfortunate.
Like OJ or something.
Well, I can't believe he's guilty until I know the facts. I mean, if he is, then he's the greatest actor in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But until he is proven guilty, he might know who did it. I can't believe he's guilty.
I see.
Until it's proven.
Well, anyway, so
Well, I
Tiny.
never did get the answer on the death penalty.
Does Tiny agree with the death
I
penalty?
do agree with the death penalty when it really comes to really horrific murders. When you hold up someone in a station and kill them when they plead for mercy, and just to rob the money from there,
right, Tiny.
and you've taken a life.
I'll give you a scenario. Guy goes to an airport, gets in a golf cart, runs over two people, kills them. Should he get the chair?
Well, not if it was accidental.
Right, of course.
All right.
You're clear. Good answer. You're cleared of all charges.
Thanks.
All right. And I might say that Tiny is enjoying a beer this morning.
Thanks so much for your
you're
hospitality.
having a good time, yes.
Oh,
Now, how is the marriage going?
the
Yeah.
marriage, that's another great question, Miss Griffin.
Now, Tiny, as you know, has been married several times. In fact, in my movie, I asked Tiny, I said, Tiny, give me a very look like you're disgusted with me. And I said, just imagine I'm one of your ex-wives. And it worked. Tiny
Did it?
really, yes, it did. But Tiny, what is going on? You got married again to a woman who's afraid to leave the house.
Oh, yeah, she's got the chronic syndrome, tiredness.
Chronic tired syndrome.
She's got that Epstein Barr or whatever it's
Everything
called.
that goes with it. She goes to 1 million doctors. Alternating doctors, and this is for the last 11 years, and she still feels tired.
Right. She's very tired.
And But right now, I hope
I think
not.
she's sick and tired of Tiny, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh no, is it over?
Now, Tiny, you
No,
have
no.
said now. What is it? You have said in the past that this woman has been tremendous to you.
Saint
She
of a wife.
services
A
you.
saint of a wife.
Even when you can't
Yes.
get aroused,
Saint of a wife. Yes.
she will come in the room and
Yes.
try to give you sex,
Yes.
sex, excuse me.
Yes.
And she would try to make love to you,
Yes.
perform certain.
How is that going?
Yeah.
Well, it's going slower than ever.
Really?
But the thing is that she's still wonderful.
Yes.
However, she wants me home. And now that I'm home, she's complaining that I don't want her to cook for me.
Right.
She really can't cook too well. And
You are very particular when it comes to food.
Yeah, I like-
What has she tried to make for you?
well, tofu and Oriental foods, and
You're not for that, huh?
well, I
Did you taste it at least? I mean, it
yes,
is insulting
yes,
to the
But
woman.
there's no taste to it because she says I have blood sugar. She's afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But I like ordering out. I also like deliveries and simple foods like eggplant, etc.
Right,
And that's disturbing. But now we're going to a counselor, which is dangerous.
Marriage counselor?
On the,
Oh, boy.
tomorrow.
Oh, for God's
Tomorrow.
sake.
Is
First
that
time?
the first?
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't. I know. But I told her, honey, if you go to counselor, you'll hear something you don't want to hear.
Really? Like what?
How's she gonna get there?
What are you going to hear?
How's she going to get there? She's taking me. She's
gonna
going
leave the
in car.
house?
Yeah, she's going with me.
Right.
Oh, she goes out when she has to.
Right.
Ah,
You
I
know,
see.
Now, what is she going to hear that she...
Well, she'll be hearing. Well, I think my darling is disturbed. I like the Eternal Princess,
Right.
Miss Stephanie,
Yes.
and that's disturbed her, and she feels that
Oh, you've fallen in love with someone else?
No, I was in love with this girl since '88.
Really? Miss Stephanie?
Miss Stephanie.
Right.
The girl album has her on the cover.
I see. So you mean she'll hear that you're in love with another woman?
She already heard it.
But why did you get married if you're in love with somebody else?
Well, because this is my eternal princess. Miss Stephanie doesn't love me, and she right now is working in Dallas. And if I ever get to heaven, however,
Mm-hmm. Yes, you
I
will.
pray the good. Oh, I pray. He says that.
believe me, you
He's
will.
going to give you Stephanie.
I
If
pray
there's
that.
a God.
That's right.
Do you believe you'll get to
I
heaven?
believe there- I
And
believe there is.
Now, who is
I
this
believe
Miss
there is.
Stephanie? You're in love with her, but she will not live with you? She will not...
No, well, she likes me, but
Yeah.
she doesn't love me.
She doesn't
which
love
This is across of the world, which I expect.
Beautiful woman?
Unrequited love.
Really?
And she is beautiful.
Really?
She is 28 now, but I met her when she was 19 on the 19th of May, 1988.
And you've been
at
in
the
love with
Dollar
her
Club.
since then?
Oh, the Eternal Princess. This is
Really?
the Eternal One. Well, Miss Sue knew that before the marriage.
Right.
But I said, if I ever get to heaven, I pray makes me another Miss Stephanie and gives her the heart to love me like she can't do here.
So
Like
you were up front with your wife. You said, look,
Yeah.
I'm in love with Miss Stephanie. I can't have her, but certainly I'll be with you because you love me.
Yeah, I love her.
And she's always provided you with sex, which I know you enjoy.
Do you think you could get hot for Miss Stephanie?
Oh,
No,
yes.
no.
You don't think you can get aroused?
No, she doesn't. She knows that. I made an album called The Impotent Troubadour.
Right.
And she,
You don't think you can get an erection over Miss Stephanie?
No, when you don't have it, you don't have it. Don't matter
Really?
who it is.
Even if it's Miss Stephanie?
No, I'm looking for that. She's such a beautiful princess. I could stay with her always if she
Have you ever been alone in a room with her and gotten anything off her?
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
I'd love to talk to her.
Right.
And it's,
So if you
Now,
go
did
into
you-
therapy, you're going to have to say this, huh?
Let me tell you
I
something.
will say it.
Do you know the great rock star Leslie West? He has the same problem with his penis. He injects it.
Oh.
They have an injection now that gives you an erection for 4 hours. Did you know this? Do you know anything about it?
I heard something about it, but I don't want injections. If it happens through a pill or
Yes, they've come up with a pill now.
They're making a pill.
Leslie told me it is now in pill form, and it can give you an erection for 4 hours, and you can have full sex.
Well, if it works, I'll hope for children.
You will.
Yeah, 'cause I don't believe for pleasure.
Really?
Oh, really? You wouldn't have sex just for pleasure?
I
would, but-
I try to avoid it.
oh my!
And it's difficult. That's why Tiny takes so many showers.
Well, I tell you, but this is a saint of a wife.
Yes.
She always kisses me, but she read in the papers that my eternal princess is still Miss Stephanie if I get to heaven.
Right.
And she says, well, what, you mean I'm only here for you on earth?
Right.
I mean, and this disturbed her.
Right.
So now she's going to a counselor.
Yeah. So, and you don't even want to go to this council. What business is it of his, of your
Well,
personal life?
But no, if she wants to do it, let her do it. But,
So you're going to go?
Well, he was up front before he married her and told her you can't blame the
Thank
guy.
you, Mr.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
said
what
it
she
up front.
expects therapy to do. He's in love.
So she tries to win you over in every way. She not only does she give you sex, she tries to cook for you, and then you, of course, complain about the cooking because
Well,
you're so
but,
particular.
yeah.
You won't let her clean your place.
clean the plate? Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, you're still living in separate places.
no, separate rooms, right. She's
Separate
upstairs,
rooms,
I'm
okay,
downstairs.
okay.
Would you let her clean your room, or you clean your own
She
room?
always does that.
She does.
Yeah,
Oh, you allow that?
She's very clean.
Really?
Exquisitely clean.
Really?
Yeah,
Exquisitely
he likes her
clean.
cleaning. cleaning?
What does she
Oh,
wash
she-
the tub with? With a gritty Comet? Or
anything that doesn't smell.
Really?
Yeah, she uses scentless things. She doesn't want me even to use cosmetics that smell. She's gotten me Clinique out there, which I have to use them when she's there.
Really?
But when I'm on the road, I go back to Camay. And so,
Good for you. You love Camay, but it does have a
Camay
scent,
soap,
and
I
your
love
wife is allergic to the environment, is she
so
not?
she says.
Yes. And you don't believe it?
Are you not believing
I
it?
believe that. I believe there's a problem.
Yeah, right.
You know.
So it sounds like you get a little aggravated with your wife.
No, I think she's a saint of a wife, but I'm afraid she's getting disturbed with me, and that she's tired of me.
Does she yell at you?
No.
Never.
How long have you been married now?
It'll be a year, August 18th.
It's long enough.
She's a saint of a wife.
Now, which wife is this? Number 4, right?
Number 3.
Number 3. All right. So
I'm sorry about even the history of numbers. I wish it was only one.
Right.
It's just unfortunate, you know. It's so hard to get along with me and with them in the world today.
you're so particular. You are a particular man. I mean,
Tiny,
you are.
I don't think you're the marrying kind. I'm
Yeah.
beginning to get that impression.
No, I really am. It's just hard to live, you know.
Right. Hey, Leslie West is on the phone. He wants to advise you about your penis. Leslie, the great rock, one of the greatest rock guitarists ever. Leslie?
How are you, babe?
Very good. Do you want to advise Tiny?
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. West.
How are you, Tiny?
Hanging in there.
You sure are, man.
Thanks.
All right, what is it you want to say, Leslie, quickly?
Listen, the doctor's name is Dr. Mark Janis.
Go ahead.
And he's one of the foremost doctors in this. Don't worry about reading articles about impotency and all that and the penile enlargement. Go to the doctor and you sit down with him. He'll take care of you, Tiny. It takes 15 minutes.
What will he do?
Yeah.
He will show you how to do this. Or if you're a little uptight about injecting it, he'll do it for you.
And then what does he do? He has to leave his office and go and get with his
Well,
injection
what
and get
he'll do
home.
is he'll see that it works.
Right.
And then he'll show him how to do it, and he'll give him 1 or 2 of the kits, and he'll go home, and
And have erections.
Tiny, it'll save your life, man.
Well, thanks.
Leslie gets a 4-hour arousal.
He's as happy as a clam.
I
Yeah.
am.
When's the last time you shot yourself up?
And you want to hear this?
Yeah.
Last night I didn't even need the injection. Once you start doing it, you get back to, I don't know why, but it works.
Wow.
Well, what's the ingredients in the injection?
There are 3 medications in there. There used to be
What are
2. I don't know what they are.
He doesn't care. He's just happy he's got it right.
Leslie doesn't
If they
care.
put
Yeah,
arsenic in
Big
there.
Mac and Arch Deluxe and French fries. What do I know?
All I can tell you, Tiny, if you go there, wear baggy pants because it does get out of control.
And what are the side effects?
The only side effect was that you get, if you do it every other day, because you can't do it every day, you get a little penile pain, but I don't mind that.
No, I would never do that.
But you don't get penile pain if you do it twice a week.
No, you don't.
I think I can do just with sunflower seeds.
Tiny, can I just tell you one thing?
What?
Sunflower seeds.
Tiny,
Pumpkin seeds.
Tiny, I tried the sunflower seeds. Doesn't work.
What about sunflower seeds?
Is that supposed to be a cure?
Is that a cure for impotence?
Well, I think I don't know what the cure is, but I do think that it has vitamin E in the pumpkin seeds
I see.
and vitamin E in raw. The key word is raw, but we all like flavor and roasted and everything. But the key, if you can get on a raw diet, you know, of the
Maybe your penis will start working.
well, it might or might not, but I believe Easy does it.
Tiny, you'll get a rise in your Levi's you never
All right,
in your
thank
life.
you.
Call the doctor.
Don't be gross, Leslie.
Oh,
All
I'm
right,
not
thank
being.
you.
I'm being serious, Al. I feel bad for this guy.
Tiny says he only would have sex to have a child anyway.
Yeah, don't worry. But leave Tiny alone. He's got a whole weird thing going on.
That's right. Only
Yeah.
for children.
I would inject for him.
There you go. Hey,
right.
Thank you, Les.
Bye, babe.
The great Leslie West, greatest guitar player ever lived. Really true.
Well, Mr. West, thanks anyway.
Yeah, well, he's trying
So
to
you
help.
really don't believe in the enjoying the fruits of a woman except
No.
to
right.
procreate?
Even with your
Right.
even with your wife now, who you're having the trouble with, you never actually had intercourse with her. She
Never.
always just serviced you
Never.
with her mouth
That's
or something, right?
Well, yes, but even now I've stopped that.
You have.
I think it's a degrading situation, even in marriage, unless it's for children.
Right. And
Unless,
there's no way you're going to get pregnant doing that.
unless no, well, if it's for children, until the time it gets at its peak, then it's entered into the woman.
Right. Then it's okay.
But not for the pleasure of. I really think it's a degrading device.
I see. Interesting.
All sex.
Well, unless it's for children, yes.
Right. Interesting. Boy, somebody must have got a hold of you at an early age.
No.
From something to you.
I
There's
just
nothing wrong.
believe-
It could be beautiful. You know that.
I just believe, well, look at the world today. They all.
I was surprised, by the way, yesterday to see you with your second wife. Miss Jan.
Well,
Miss Jan was there?
Miss Jan was there with Tiny. I was very shocked. I didn't think you two were getting along.
Well, she wanted to come down, and
Right.
I let her down.
Beautiful woman.
You still
She
talk
is.
to her?
She is a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Ernie. Yes, I do. She wants to come down.
should see what's going on.
And when she comes down, she can have her kicks,
Right, right.
But the thing is, it's unfortunate, but
Now, how are you going to get to this therapist tomorrow? Isn't that back where you live somewhere in
Yeah,
Ohio
in
or something?
Minneapolis.
So what are you going to do? You're getting on a plane today?
well, she's taking me there.
She's taking you, and you'll get in the plane, and as soon as you get there, you'll go to the therapist,
Yeah.
and you're going to sit down. You're going to be honest in front of the therapist. You're always honest.
Well, I pray to be.
And your wife,
do a lot of strength.
and then the therapist might even say, "Hey, look, maybe it's time to end the marriage, right?"
He won't say that. I don't think he will.
You're interested in keeping the marriage going, though.
Well, of course, but sweet, beautiful dear.
Right, right.
But if
You're not calling me a sweet, beautiful dear. You're saying your wife, right?
Mrs. Sue, of course.
Right.
But the only thing is, I'm just wondering if she is looking for a way out.
Ah, interesting. As so many women have.
Well,
Right. And you would understand because you are difficult to live
she's
with.
40. Yeah, she's 40, and
Does she want to have children?
no,
No.
she can't. So she said.
I see.
Yes.
But,
So she says. Everybody says.
Yeah, well, listen, he has no proof.
Do you believe in consummating your marriages?
yes.
Of
Oh,
course.
okay.
You consummated this marriage, right?
No.
Oh, you haven't?
Like it's hard.
Impossible.
It's right now.
Really? I feel bad about that.
Well, so do I. It's just.
You've tried, though, right?
Yeah, but
What happens? You get on top of her, nothing happens?
no, I can't even do that.
You can't even get on top of her? You're kidding me.
There's no reason. He said.
You know, want me to do it for you? I would help you out there. Probably a beautiful
Consummation by
woman.
proxy.
It's just, but she's been understanding, and she's
Right.
a fantastic wife. She's a saint of a wife.
Jeez, I can't believe you can't consummate. That would be so. Maybe that would revitalize the whole marriage.
Well, I don't. She might have that problem.
Right.
She might have the problem of.
She might be horny.
But she says she loves me, darling. This and that.
Do you at least feel her up?
Hardly.
Really? Interesting.
What do you do?
Well,
You got to do something to the
Sit
forward.
there and read the paper to each
Yeah,
other?
I mean, yeah, Tiny.
No,
He sits in his room.
no, I just call her darling.
All right. You're romantic with her.
And,
What is a marriage, Tiny?
Well, I know it sounds
It's not conventional. This is what the
no.
therapist is going to have to do it.
I just kiss it. I say, darling.
Oh,
you're
you do kiss her?
beautiful."
On the lips?
Yes.
Oh, French kiss? With the tongues?
Just with the
No?
lips.
Just with the lips. You're not into French kissing? Because of the germ thing with
How
you.
could he love women so much and not want to touch them?
Tiny, you're saying because your tonguing is germs?
I should answer that question.
Yes.
Ms. Griffith, you're talking to the world's biggest sinner. Is sitting right here.
That's not true. You're sitting across from Jackie the Joke McMahon.
I just thank Jesus Christ for his blessings. But,
course.
But I've always had desires like this. I try to suppress them. There are rare nights when certain beautiful women can come, and I need more help.
Right.
But at home, but the only thing I do at home, really, I said, darling, I'm sorry I can't please you like you please me.
Yes.
And she said, don't worry, I just need your loving and affection.
Is that
she
right?
says to me.
Very understanding
and
woman.
she just puts her hands on me when I need something.
Right.
And it's very
She uses
rare.
her hand.
Oh, she's wonderful.
With her hand. Really?
Yes, she's wonderful.
My wife is like pulling carrots out of the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
It's a little rough.
Well, but
I
she,
tell her, get the lotion, my sweetness.
Oh, well, she is wonderful, and
Your wife uses lotion?
not yet.
Really?
But the thing is, she is wonderful. However, I'm sorry, I can't give her nothing.
You know, a suggestion, I don't mean to get graphic.
no.
Use a zucchini on her or something.
Oh no.
Corn cob.
She doesn't even want anything.
Really? Interesting
She's
woman.
just happy pleasing me.
Really?
And I'm disturbed.
wonderful.
I'm disturbed that
You feel guilty about it.
That's right.
Of course.
Thank you so much for having the nice words and the help with the truth, which sometimes you can't express with that case there.
Yeah, by the way, Tiny, thanks for clearing up the golf cart incident.
Yes.
Thank you for being in my film. Thank you for clearing up. Tiny said it reminded him of old Hollywood, my film.
That's right.
Yeah. And also, thank you for being so open about your relationship
Well,
with
this is
your
true. Oh, you're very
beautiful
appreciative.
wife.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people learn things from listening to you, Tiny.
Well, I hope
Yes.
so. But, that's why I did that Impotent Troubadour, the worst album in a long while. But it was just to encourage others. You can
To come
still
forward
sing.
and
Talk
That's
about
right.
them.
You can still go on with life even though you can't
Yes.
get it up, is what your message is.
Well, even though there is a defect, right?
Exactly. Tiny Tim, ladies and gentlemen, and go to your store, or I don't know where you can get this. Tiny Tim,
well,
Prisoner of Love.
You can only get lucky and go to any record store, and maybe it's in the racks.
Anything else you want to promote?
I just want to thank you for.
Well, thank you. For
yes, one other thing, not
yes.
promotion, but about that accident with the golf cart.
Yes.
When I had an accident in another car back in '75, when somebody had a heart attack and crashed into the car, I said then, and now even more emphasize, that for somebody who doesn't know how to drive, with all the safety airbags they're doing, there should be a valve on the right-hand side of the car, so the person who doesn't know how to drive can stop that car.
The passenger could stop the car.
That's right. Not only in the front, but if you're riding in a cab and he has a heart attack and he's going over the bridge, there should be a valve there in the back to pull down so the start.
An emergency stop.
Sure. An emergency stop.
Beautifully put, Ms. Quivers. Right. Definitely.
She's very articulate.
And this is definitely what every car should have.
Thank you, Tiny.
Because otherwise,
you're helpless. You're helpless.
That's right.
Yes. Well,
Tiny
listen.
should know.
Tiny, listen. Don't leave the house. That's my advice. You understand what I'm saying? Tiny Tim, the great Tiny Tim. Anytime, you know you're always welcome here. Good luck with your erections, your marriages, everything. I mean, you're a complicated man.
We'll be anxious to hear how the counseling goes.
Yes, yeah. When you come back, please share with us how the counseling session goes. Good luck in there. Don't let that guy take advantage of you. Is it a male counselor?
Yes. The strangest part is that he's a musician.
Is he really? Probably a big fan.
Who knows what's going on?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Thank you so much.
We're in there in spirit with you.
Thanks.
So when Howard asks you a lot of sexual questions, does that sort of upset you or embarrass you?
No, not now. It would feel a little queasy, but naturally you have to expect that, because I myself put out the Impotent Troubadour album back a couple of years ago, and so you have to expect that. It's just a matter of the time and a matter of whatever's happening. So that is his forte, and that is what one has to be asked. It's an uneasy thing to bring it up, and it's uneasy to ask, but you bring it up.
Is that a pun, bring it up?
Well, I have to see, in this business, I don't know if that's the right word, but I believe an entertainer, at least here, is in to tell his fans the good and the bad of life, to take the roses and the thorns. And one can't always be a perfectionist. And so when I say what's wrong with me, it's also that maybe it will help. Or maybe the truth is you have to take the good and the bad, and this is what I'm trying to express. This is why I have an obligation to a higher source to tell my friends the good part and the bad parts, so they can say, well, at least he was honest, and give the Lord praise.
So you think everything's going to be resolved with the golf cart incident at the airport?
Well, I hope it will be. I don't take nothing for granted until it happens. But as Mr. Cirillo said, from the airport there, I just pray these people get well. That's my major concern, and after that, I pray eventually it will be resolved.
If you were to do over again, what would you do?
With the cart?
Yeah.
I wouldn't get on the cart.
All right, well, Tiny, I thank you for coming.
Mr. Gandy, thank you very much.
And I guess we'll see you pretty soon.
Yes, and all I can say is, may you have the best.
Take care.
Well, thank you.